Okay. Oh. Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started as soon as courtroom 2 or the Alpharetta Annex.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge Moore.
Mr. Jordan, good afternoon.
The SAP reset date is May the 20th.
Okay, thank you. It's right at 2 o'clock. Do you want to go with the Alpharetta Annex first? Who do we have there? Alpharetta Annex. We have at the Alpharetta Annex.
I think that's Mr. Ambrosio.
Okay, yes, can you speak so I can make sure we can hear you?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, good afternoon, sir. And this is, tell me your last name?
Imburgia, kind of like
Okay.
Georgia, the Imburgia.
Yes, that's position number 6. Let's see, make sure we have everybody on with us before we proceed. Who's presenting for the state?
Your Honor, give me just 1 second. I don't have him on my calendar. You said
He's on-
position 6?
Yes, position 6. Let me just go ahead and address everyone while we're getting ready. I see courtroom 2 has joined us and Mr. Imbruglia at the Alpharetta Annex. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We are providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Mr. Ambrosio, you have been charged in case 25 CR 002342J with harassing communications. Let me make sure that we are ready for the state.
Your Honor, while we're waiting on that notion, can I ask, am I the only person that hasn't received a calendar by email yet?
Actually, I emailed you, Mr. Mike.
Okay. So is that under? Okay. Is it right after the jail interviews, the jail Bidders are down, or is that? Because I just don't see it in my inbox. But at any rate, Your Honor, we do have two more. I have two more AC/DC interviews to do over the phone. I'm sure we'll get to that while other people are doing their things.
Yes, we'll make sure. So this is position number 6 that we're on. Who is presenting for the state here? Okay, good
That's me,
afternoon.
Your
Ms.
Honor. I
Good afternoon.
apologize. I'm having a
No
hard time connecting on Zoom for the past week, so it's something we're working on, but
Okay, I understand. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
I was waiting for you, Miss Allen. I have not, I just greeted everyone. So we're at the point where I'm gonna ask Miss Jackson for the history.
Okay,
Miss
thank you.
Jackson, you're welcome. Good afternoon, Miss Jackson.
Good afternoon, Judge. He does not have any prior arrests on file. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Yes, Miss Allen.
Thank you. So this gentleman came in with 2 cases, but because they're factually related and only a day apart, I put them all in the same case. Count 1 is from the 3rd of May. Specifically, police were alerted by the ex-girlfriend of this defendant. Her name is Valerie Inglesby. When she was receiving repeated text messages after being asked, the defendant was being asked to stop contacting her. While with police, they observed and noted at least 6 messages from the defendant, including seeing where she had asked to stop contacting her, and he had sent her responses saying no, and including a middle finger, letting her know he intended to continue to contact her. The following day, on the 4th of May, police responded at about 10:50 in the morning to her address, 10520 Woodstock Road in Roswell. The defendant had come to the location where the victim, again, Mrs. Valerie Inglesby, and a friend of hers were present in her residence. He began banging on the doors and the windows repeatedly. She fled interior to the location into an area to hide. And then she and her witness heard the defendant making entry into her home through a basement. At that point, she and the witness fled out the front door, and the defendant was located there inside her residence. He'd removed some of her clothing and placed a beautiful outfit out on her bed for her, not creepy at all, and made a bunch of notes, left a bunch of notes, begging her not to break up with him. He was arrested on scene, and the victim and her witness gave statements to police officers. So he's charged with an additional charge of criminal trespass for making entry into her home for an unlawful purpose, and for stalking, for continuing and repeatedly having contact that's not consented to. Although this defendant has no criminal history, Your Honor, this behavior is alarming. We're asking for a $5,000 surety to stay away from her address at 10520 Woodstock Road, Roswell. No contact with the victim, Valerie Inglesby, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. If you'd sound for her, Mrs. Inglesby.
If Miss Valerie Inglesby is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Just so that it's not on my calendar, but just so to make everyone aware, as well as yourself if you're not, as Ms. Allen said, the calendar only has the harassing communications, but there's also a criminal trespass and a stalking on it. Were you aware of that?
One of each. Mr. Jordan's text message or chat message, yes.
Okay, very good. Go ahead. You can proceed.
Your Honor, 52-year-old Joseph Imbergia is a graduate of a graduate school. He is a professional. He's in the legal profession and has worked in his adult life in that field with no prior arrests, Your Honor. He has a Peachtree City address, so there should be no problem with the stay away if the court should desire to order such. There will be no problems with obeying the court orders. We would ask for a signature bond in this situation, Your Honor.
Okay, for each charge will be a $3,000 signature bond at pre-trial level 3. makes for a total of a $9,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Ms. Inglesby. Stay away from the Woodstock Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if I'm in the right courtroom, but I was contacted by the Fulton County Police for a hit and run. Is this the right one?
I don't know. Are you here for a criminal case?
Yes, it was a hit and run on my car.
Do you know who the defendant is?
I forgot she just told me to join this Zoom.
She's in the right courtroom, I believe, Miss. Your last name starts with a B.
Yes, my name Belima.
We'll call your case soon. She's here correctly.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Thank you, ma'am. All right, who do we have? Good luck to you, sir. Anyone else at the Alpharetta Annex?
Judge, what was that bond again?
Total of a $9,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 3,000 for each charge.
Got a signature bond?
Okay, we completed the Alpharetta Annex?
Yes, sir. We're done. We only had
Okay.
Mr. Ambrosia. Did you say
Alright.
he had a signature bond?
Very, very good. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, you all can't just interrupt court. This is a court session, okay? If you want to contact someone, do it through the chat.
Thank you.
Do not interrupt me while I'm in the middle of conducting court here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Who do we have next?
Next is position 20, Ms. Turner.
Good afternoon, Ms. Turner. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002322G with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history? Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor, there are 3 cycles. The last arrest was August the 26th, 2018, out of Fort Walton County, Florida, for battery. That charge was Snodcross on January the 7th, 2020. And she does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case shares a child with the defendant. The victim is John David Driver. The booking documents and documents from the law enforcement agency neglected to include the name of the child who was present when this incident was happening. On the 4th of May, the victim was pushing a stroller. Mr. Driver was pushing a stroller with their infant in it down the street, and 2 witnesses reported seeing the defendant come up behind him and strike him with an object. And then the victim in this case tried to hold her off, not respond in kind by striking her back. Police spoke to both individuals on the scene. Mrs. Turner was described as obviously intoxicated. She told officers that she got up in the morning that day and had cleaned the house and taken care of the baby, and then drank 2 bottles of alcohol.
I apologize. See courtroom 2 with this.
I appreciate you jumping in.
Apparently, we all having problems on Saturday as well with the internet.
I wasn't here, but I
Okay.
imagine maybe so.
Okay, we'll have to be in recess until they return.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we noted that you all had fallen off courtroom two. You back with us? Can you hear us all right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Miss Allen, if you'll start from the top for me, please. Thank you.
He in prison.
And I will need everyone, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 4th of May. Police responded to an intersection when they were called to the location when it was observed by witnesses that a defendant, a female in front of you, the lady in front of you, Mrs. Turner, was seen running at the victim, Mr. Driver, as he pushed their child in a stroller and striking him with an object. Police made contact with Mrs. Turner. She was described as obviously intoxicated. She reported that she and her husband lived together and share a child, that he had not gotten up till about 11:30 that day, and she got up early and cleaned the house and took care of the children. After her husband woke up, she served him a meal. They both took liquor shots together, but before that, she'd already had 2 bottles of alcohol by herself. The victim, Mr. Driver, went to take the child to the store, put the child in the stroller and left, and there was a physical altercation there in the street. Mr. Driver, the victim, reported that he was pushing the stroller on the street when she was unhappy about him taking the child. They got into an argument. He said he was going to go back home with the baby, and she ran after him and assaulted him with an object. Witnesses on scene reported that the victim did not respond with violence. And yeah, it looks like this is a volatile situation, Your Honor. So there's some history for this defendant, although it looks like it was dismissed finally in 2020. But a Florida arrest for battery and a Georgia arrest for disorderly conduct, and now this. We did speak to Mr. Driver today. He says that they're married and live together and they share a child. He confirmed what happened and said that there has been violence in the past, but the ultimate issue is substances. We're asking for a $4,000 SOB through pretrial, no contact, stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons at this time. And the address where this young lady will have to stay away from, if we could get that from the victim. I believe he's joined us on Zoom, Mr. Driver. It's just not part of our documents, just like the child's name isn't part of our documents.
Okay. Mr. Driver, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, I'm happy to hear from you. If you'll raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Mr. Driver. Yes, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I actually, Jaylon is my wife. I do not want to press charges against her. I would ask. I'm not sure what the bond, but if you could clarify the bond for me.
Well, I have not made a bond decision as of yet, so that's what we're in the process of doing. And the bond would also include whether there's a stay away from you and your child. I'm concerned, Mr. Driver, so you tell me if what Madam Prosecutor told me is correct. Was there alcohol involved at what appears to be breakfast time in your household?
Yes, sir. But I would like to request if there was an alternative option for her to seek help as far as alcohol or things like that, an alternative to any criminal charges, because she, as I said before, she is my wife and we do share a child. I love her very much. I want her to be well, and I also take responsibility for enabling the alcohol use, because I know of the issues that we had in the past. I thought we had worked through it. I don't I'm the sole provider for the household, and it works through her caring for our son, and I work during the day, and that has worked well for us. We just got this home, and I would prefer to keep our household together. I did not call the police. I'm not sure who called, but my main concern,
How old's your child, Mr. Driver?
um, 11 months as of the 31st.
Okay, so there's an 11-month child support, and she is the primary caretaker while you're not home.
Yes, sir.
And you're telling me that there is an alcohol problem, and you're also telling me that that at breakfast time, when you might have been gone, she is there taking care of an 11-month-old child by herself in that home while she is possibly intoxicated. You understand how that is a concern for this court.
Yes, sir. But as I said before, I'm the sole provider, and
Okay, well, I understand that, but I'm more concerned for that child.
yes,
Okay,
sir.
you're gonna have to make some kind of arrangement because I'm not gonna allow this to happen. I'm gonna order that she has alcohol, drug evaluation, and some counseling. But while she's doing that, I'm not going to have her taking care of a child while she's possibly intoxicated, which is what you're telling me that is going on in that household. So that's just not gonna happen, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and I hope that you can understand my reasoning for that.
Yes, sir.
You're the father of that 11-month-old child. You have a responsibility to make sure that that child is taken care of in the best way possible.
Yes, sir.
And regardless of what, when you took on that responsibility, regardless of, what's going on, you have a duty to that child.
I understand.
Okay, very good. So let me hear from the attorney and I'll get back with you. Okay, Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, she has 2 years of college, 27 years old. In the last 5 years, her jobs have included being a customer service representative at the City of Atlanta Parks and Recreation. And before that, she worked in a restaurant, a beauty supply store, and for retail sales for Hudson down at the airport. So she is a hard worker and she is educated. I think the court has identified the problem, and we would ask to follow the signature bond portion of it and any conditions the court feels are appropriate.
Mr. Driver, I'm going to order that she get alcohol, drug evaluation, and some treatment as part of my bond sentence. You can unmute him there as I talk to him. But at this time, until she starts that treatment and starts getting some help, I'm not going to have her around the child. Okay. So my bond is, I'm gonna release her on a signature bond through what we call pretrial. So for each charge, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, which makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. I'm gonna have her have no further violent contact with you. She's going to have to stay away from the home at this point in time. So she's going to have to stay away from your residence. She's going to have to find someplace else to reside in the meantime. She is only to have supervised visitation with the child at this time. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, drug evaluation, and any treatment that's necessary. You understand my order,
Yes, sir.
sir? Okay. Good luck to
Yes,
you,
sir.
sir. I wish you the best, you and your family. Okay.
Thank you.
Who do we have next? Looks like courtroom 2 has jumped off again. Can we go to ACDC while they?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Officer Milton.
Okay, this is Miss Bailey Grunwald. I don't have the position number, Your Honor.
Spell the last name for me.
Grunwald. WALD.
Okay,
Put
she,
Ms. Hicks
add
on the
on
add-on calendar.
calendar.
Maybe
Um,
at the add-on calendar.
position number 5 on the add-on calendar. Good afternoon, Ms. Grunwald. Do you have anybody else there with you, Officer Milton?
Yes, ladies, come here quickly. These two last ladies have to have to speak to Attorney Mike McLean, Trolson
Okay.
and Willie. They're right here. Willie. They're right
Good
here.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their services. It's my understanding that the two young ladies that are standing up still need to speak with the public defender. So we'll give you that opportunity in just a moment. Ms. Grunwald, you have been charged in case 25 CR 002347G with striking an unattended vehicle, failure to report striking a fixed object, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There is one prior cycle. The last arrest was August the 3rd, 2018 in Fulton County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. She does have one misdemeanor conviction. That possession of marijuana less than an ounce was amended to a non-fingerprintable offense in 2018. And she does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Harrison.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident occurred on May 4th, 2025. The location is Dunbrody Drive and Dunbrody Avenue, which I'm guessing is right on the intersection. Officers were dispatched to the area in reference to an auto collision. Once they arrived, they observed a 2013 gray Toyota RAV4 off the roadway in the grass with front end damage. They also observed to the right of the vehicle a light post that was completely knocked to the ground. They observed further up the road a black Toyota Tundra with rear end damage matching the damage of the gray Toyota. Officers made contact with the defendant, who was the driver, and they could smell the odor of alcohol on her breath and observed her having difficulty maintaining her balance. Officers asked her if she had anything to drink, and she advised officers that she had 2 drinks prior at a bar. She stated that she was at a bar and drinking with her friends, and she got into an argument with her friends and left. She did consent to field sobriety testing on the scene, and she did give cues to those tests. The HGNT test, she gave 6 cues. She had 6 cues on the walk and turn test and 3 cues on the one leg stand test. So officers placed her under arrest. And she also consented at the time to a state administered blood draw. So they were going to transfer her over to Grady. And she began getting combative with officers. She pulled away from officers, were like kicking her legs, and screaming and just being a bit unreasonable and unruly. In light of her prior criminal history and pretrial's recommendation, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond on the DUI, a $500 surety bond on the obstruction charge, $500 surety bond on the failure to report an object, striking the object, and a $1,000 surety bond on the striking unattended vehicle charge. We are also asking that the defendant complete 30 hours of community service, a defensive driving course, and adhere to the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while on bond. That'll be all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 24 years old, and she has been here ever since she was 15 months old. She's been here in Georgia all her life. She graduated Oh, she couldn't graduate, but she went to Chattahoochee High School until 2019. After that, she got her GED and went to get medical assistance certification, Your Honor. And she is working as at the healthcare industry right now. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level one, as she does not have any previous history other than misdemeanor that was already taken care of 7 years ago, Your Honor. And that's what we ask for, Your Honor. Signature on bond through pretrial.
Okay, for the striking unattended vehicle, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Failure to report, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 2. DUI, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Willful obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Brunwald.
Next, add on one, Mr. Andrews.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Andrews. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002346J with simple assault and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 40 cycles. The last arrest was March the 31st, 2025, with the city of Atlanta for theft by shoplifting. He does appear to be on probation in DeKalb County for simple battery. That disposition date was August the 28th, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. Also, he appears to have an open case pending, 24 PI 005178 for theft by shoplifting and battery. He does have prior misdemeanor convictions. This one in 2025, he received a nolo contendere sentence for theft by shoplifting. And there was one in 2018 out of DeKalb County for theft by shoplifting. Received a nolo contendere sentence in 2018 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And there was one in 2017 out of Clayton County for theft of services and giving false information to an officer. And there was an additional one in 2017 out of Florida for criminal trespassing. And he does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, and I just want to confirm, this is Mr. Andrews Adonis? Okay.
Yes, it's my understanding.
Okay, perfect. This incident occurred on May 3rd, 2025. The incident location is 3368 Peachtree Road, which is Maggiano's restaurant. Officers met with the caller, which is Mrs. Yvonne Roberts, who's the victim in this case. She stated that the defendant came into the location and was asked to leave because he was not purchasing anything. He then got upset, reached over the counter, took a tray of cookies, and then picked up a bottle of soap and threw it towards Ms. Roberts' face. It missed her face only because she ducked. He then took off running from the location towards the MARTA station, and police apprehended him at the MARTA station. In light of the defendant's criminal history, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge. We're asking for a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, Ms. Roberts, and no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while on bond. And we'd like to sound for Ms. Roberts in case she joined us in court today. That's all for it.
Ms. Yvonne Roberts is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Hey, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 29 years old, and right now he does have a broken rib right now because of the accident that he was in, and he also has a broken wrist. So he does have to go to the medical. I mean, he has to get some medical care right now. So we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 3. Even though it is a lot of times that he has to report, he's willing to do that. He went to Moore's House for college to get associate degree there. As of now, he's unemployed, so he cannot pay for any bond. And he already has a $780 of surety bond. If Your Honor has to give the bond, we would like to request that bond to remain set. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, there looks like that appears that there's something going on with Mr. Andrews. So I want him to have a social worker visit as a requirement of this bond. It'll be $1,000 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. A social worker visit to assess for BHET. No further contact with Ms. Roberts. Stay away from Maggiano's on Peachtree Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Ms. Kim, if you'll have them report back to me at the May 20th SAP calendar, I'm happy to reconsider if anything changes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Andrews. We have next. Courtroom 2, are you still with us? Doesn't appear that they are. Has anyone spoken to the people there at ACDC? Officer Milton?
Yes, Attorney Mike McClain is talking to them now.
Okay, just let me know when y'all are ready, okay?
Yes, sir.
As you probably know, courtroom 2 keeps going in and out, so we'll work you all in when we can.
Thank you.
Okay, Judge, that give me an opportunity to go print that add-on calendar if that's okay.
Oh, yes, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you.
We were missing one more. There should be an updated add-on calendar coming out. We were missing one more person. So
Okay.
it's going to be a total of 7 positions on the add-on calendar.
Courtroom 2. I'm not sure where you all left us. Did you get my bond pronouncement for Mr. Andrews?
I wanted to know, why can't I get a signature by Judge Morrow? I wanted to ask you, I said, why can't I get a signature by?
Okay, you can bring on the next person there, courtroom 2, and you can speak to your attorney about that, Mr. Andrews.
Then do I get released in 2 weeks, or how does it work?
Your next court day in 2 weeks.
Do you get released in 2 weeks, or how does it work?
Come on. 2 weeks, man.
Like, that's crazy.
Next, we can do position 1, Mr. Figueroa.
Fuck shit.
Good afternoon, Mr. Figueroa. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002341E with simple battery, family violence, battery against a female who is pregnant, and hindering persons making an emergency telephone call. I'm not sure if Ms. Jackson's back with us yet.
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Jackson.
There are 27 cycles. The last arrest was August the 30th, 2024 in Gwinnett County for a DUI. Does appear to be on probation in Gwinnett County. Criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. That disposition date was November the 22nd, 2021. It's 1 year confinement and 4 years on probation. Also, he appears to have an open case pending in Gwinnett County for DUI. In addition to that, he appears to have an outstanding hold out of Gwinnett County for a probation violation. The date on that warrant is August the 22nd, 2024. He does have a prior felony conviction that was in 2008 out of Gwinnett County for 2 counts of aggravated assault, and there are misdemeanor sentences and convictions. This one in 2023 out of Gwinnett County for criminal trespassing and driving while license suspended or revoked and obstruction of an officer. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2022 out of Gwinnett County for driving while license suspended or revoked. This one in 2019 out of Woodstock, Georgia for driving while license suspended or revoked. And there was one in 2007 for driving while license suspended or revoked. And he does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from January the 1st of 2025, so there's been a warrant outstanding for a period of time. Police were called at about 6:55 p.m. to 150 Wills Road in Alpharetta, Willis, I believe. The victim in this case, her name is Hilda Luna Gutierrez, met with police on the scene. She was visibly pregnant in January. She said she was 33 weeks pregnant. She reported that her boyfriend, the defendant, who lives with her, got upset because she was talking to family members on the phone or by text, talking about how she was planning on coming home to California. He became angry and he kicked her in the leg. He had already previously taken her phone from her. And her 2 children, not his 2 children, but her 2 children in her home witnessed this altercation. She went to go use one of her children's iPads to try to call 911. The defendant took that from her. The children reported to police that that's something that they saw, as well as the argument. The defendant then fled in his car, and as he was fleeing, he threw her phone out the window back at her. And that's when she was able to call 911 successfully and get help. We did speak to Mrs. Luna Gutierrez today. So it's May the 5th. This is now 4 months after the incident. During the incident, they were breaking up, and he was yelling at her to go back home to California, and he kicked her and took her phone while she was talking to her family. Today, the victim says that they're working on their relationship, and they live together in Dawsonville, and they have a newborn because she was pregnant when this happened. She confirmed what happened, says that he's only been violent with her 1 time before, and she also called the police. Most of the time, they just argue. She says she's not in fear. Your Honor, we're asking for a $6,000 surety. He's got a prior aggravated assault, an open case dealing with substance abuse. She says this is not the first time he's been violent. This incident happened, the one in front of you today, in front of 2 children who reported that their mother had things ripped out of her hands, and it prevented her from calling 911. Since then, she's had the baby that she was pregnant with at the time, and these young children don't deserve to be in an environment where this is occurring. If you'd sound for Mrs. Luna Gutierrez, I believe she's joined us on the Zoom, but we're asking for a $6,000 surety, no contact, to stay away from where she's currently living, if that's still 150 Wills Road in Alpharetta or a different address in Dawsonville, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
If Gutierrez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean? Mr. McLean, is this your case?
Yes, this is his case. I believe he is on the phone.
Mr. McLean?
Okay, we're back.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I didn't know that
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything right now. Okay, we're back now. Those interviews are over with.
Okay, we're on Mr. Figueroa, position number 1.
Okay, let me reach over to the right spot. Ready? Got it.
Unfortunately, we've gone through the entire case, so do you need for anything to be repeated?
No, Your Honor. I've got the information I need to tell the court about.
Okay, go ahead.
39-year-old Juan Figueroa has been in Georgia since he was a baby. He's local. His education, let's see. I've got his father's number over in El Paso. He won't have any problem in following any court orders. I did notice in the PSA that there was a problem on one thing, and he does have a hold. But other than that, Your Honor, he does have a Dawsonville address, so that there shouldn't be any problems with staying away. And we would ask the court to consider a signature bond, and if not a signature bond, then a $1,000 to $2,000 surety.
Okay, for the simple battery, it will be $1,000 good bond. For the hindering person making an emergency call, $1,000 good bond. With a battery, a $2,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from her residential address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 2 and 3, Mr. Hayes.
All right, look like they froze again, Your Honor.
Okay, so who do we have in courtroom? I mean, in ACDC?
Amanda Trolson.
I'm sorry, spell the last name for me.
Troelsen. Might be on the add-on calendar.
Your Honor, she is not on my information, but I can take a moment and review if it's possible. Can someone send me a booking number in the chat?
I have the, you want me to tell it to you over the?
Sure.
250
Mhm.
8103.
Okay.
Mr. Jordan, are you with me?
Yes, John.
I don't see her on any of these calendars that have come out. Is she? Do you have her information?
So she was on the original pool sheet, but we haven't received a case for it.
Okay. She was not on our list, so let me look. If you would excuse me for just a moment, I can return in just a few moments if we could add her to, or maybe come back
Okay.
to her. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Of course.
Allen.
The next one is William Sanajay. William.
Okay, that's position number 22. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Williams. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002323J with simple battery, family violence, and 2 counts of reckless conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 30 cycles. The last arrest was September the 16th, 2022, at the Georgia Tech Police Department for driving under the influence of alcohol. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does appear to be on probation in Cherokee County for 5 counts of identity theft fraud. That disposition date was June the 7th, 2018, and the term is for 10 years. Also, there appears to be an outstanding hold out of Canton, Georgia for a probation violation The date on that warrant was September 30th, 2022. And there is one prior felony conviction. It's in 2015 out of Florida for grand theft and forgery. And she appears to meet the criteria for UJR a level 2. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This young lady's a convicted felon and currently has an active warrant for a probation revocation or violation. I'm not sure how that makes you eligible for an SOB, but we're asking for a $6,000 surety bond. This is an incident that occurred on the 2nd of May. Police responded to the location of a collision, and the location specifically was 275 First Street, F-E-R-S-T. On scene, they met with Mrs. Williams. She reported that she'd been in a vehicle there at the location driving. She was a passenger, and she admitted to striking the driver, her girlfriend, who she lives with, Sierra Banks, in her face while Sierra was driving the vehicle on a public road. That caused a collision. The victim responded by elbowing this defendant in the face. And after the collision, the victim actually left the scene. She has other charges pending as well. Georgia Tech police were on the scene as well. When this incident was reported, Mrs. Williams had blood on her as a result of striking Mrs. Banks, who was driving, and then she also was injured. She did seem to she did have an active warrant. She was evaluated by EMS, but declined treatment. We're asking for, again, that $6,000 surety, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no contact with Sierra Banks. This individual has history out of Florida, New Jersey, and Georgia. Thank you. We haven't been in touch with Sierra Banks. She's in felony first appearance, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, thank you. Miss Williams has moved away from the Dawson address and now lives over in an apartment complex. We have the address in Peachtree, basically near Midtown. And so there should be no problem with staying away from anybody the court says to stay away from. She has 12th grade education in Wilmington, Delaware, but she's been here for years and years and years. I believe at least 18 years. So she's local. Your Honor, she has her own construction company. They remodel commercial and residential properties. And before that, she worked as a claim adjuster for an insurance company. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond. If that is not possible, we'd ask the court to consider something like a $2,000 surety bond.
For each charge will be $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Sierra Banks. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Williams.
Next, we can do positions 2 and 3. Mr. Hayes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hayes. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002337C with battery family violence, and in case 25 CR 002338C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 42 cycles. The last arrest was I apologize, Your Honor. It was April the 26th, 2024 in Fulton County for a probation violation. He does have prior felony convictions, one in 2015 out of Clayton County for possession of methamphetamine and possession of cocaine. And there was one in 2010 for possession of cocaine. He received first offender treatment in 2004 out of Richmond County, Georgia for the violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. And he does have misdemeanor sentences and convictions. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2024 for driving while licensed, suspended, or revoked. And there was one in 2016 out of Tennessee for evading an arrest. One in 2014 out of Forest Park, Georgia, for driving while license suspended or revoked. One in 2013 for driving while license suspended or revoked, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And one in 2012 out of DeKalb County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And one in 2011 for 2 counts of obstruction of an officer, and he received a no low contendere sentence in 2011 for driving while license suspended or revoked. This one in 2009 for carrying a concealed weapon, and he received a no low contendere sentence in 2007 out of Richmond County, Georgia, for obstruction of an officer. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Kelly, I'm gonna need for you to go off video and stop smoking, ma'am. This is a court proceeding. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hayes has 2 cases on the calendar, position 2 and 3. In chronological order, the case from January the 21st of 2025 at about 12:10 in the morning, police were called to 2637 Old Hateville Road, Southwest. There they met with the victim, Constance Mason. She was bleeding and had lacerations on the inside of her mouth. She reported that the defendant, her boyfriend, who she lives with there, struck her in her face multiple times. This case was followed up on by an APD investigator, DV specific. She reported that she'd been in her vehicle driving with the defendant. She was going to get her child, and he was demanding that she drive him to get some cigarettes. He got upset, and that's when he started to strike her in her face. She exited the vehicle and got help. A police report was made, and warrants were obtained. The second case, Your Honor, is from February the 15th of 2025. The same location at about 6:30 in the evening, 2637 Old Hateville Road, Southwest. Again, Mrs. Constance Mason reported that she had been struck twice. She was punched with a closed fist in her head while she was holding her child. She was seen to have visible swelling on her forehead. She said her boyfriend, the defendant, woke her up and asked her to take him to go see his daughter. She explained that she was going to be leaving the location soon. And that's when he became upset again, because he has needs and needs her to take him places and she's not ready, I guess. And that's when he punched her twice in the face while she was holding her child. And that's when she fell to the ground holding her child. She ran to the bathroom where she locked herself and the child in. And then the defendant fled before police arrived. She was able to identify the defendant for police. So the last arrest, it sounds like from pretrial, was in April of 2024 after these incidences. He's got these warrants that were active, and I believe he was just transferred down to us. We did speak with the victim, Mrs. Mason, today. She says she's currently 5 months pregnant, that they are no longer living at the location in these 2 incidences, but they currently stay at a hotel together and they live together and everything is fine. She did confirm the information. Oh, no, actually, she denied the 2 incidences that are reported to police, and says she doesn't really remember because she's got mental problems and she can't remember things. She also sometimes thinks people are harming her when they're not. She says they've been living together since this incident, although it's clear from pretrial he's been arrested since this incident as well. So there's not been a continuous living together, at least for that reason. Mrs. Mason also let us know she'd like to not press charges and she wants to continue contact. Your Honor, we're asking for, this is 1 count in each case. We're asking for a $4,000 surety total, no contact with the victim, Constance Mason, or her children, the baby she was holding in February when she was struck to the ground, and her new baby, if it's a different child. And she's pregnant as well. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no contact, and stay away from the hotel where she's currently living or anywhere she's living or working. If you'd call for Ms. Mason, thank you.
Ms. Mason, I see you on the line. If you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I need for you to raise your right hand for me, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
The truth, I swear.
Okay, Ms. Mason, what would you like to tell the court?
First of all, I explained to the officers when they came and made the report that it shouldn't have been any charges filed. Mr. Hayes, he works, he's a part of my household. And like I told them, I have mental problems. So sometimes you can say something to me and I hear that you saying one thing that you totally not said, or I could say someone is harming me. And I have these problems, especially when I'm off my meds. So I also explained, like, the charges should have never been brought up against him because I did not want to press charges. I do not have a small baby. That's
Miss
one. My
Mason,
daughter is 9 years old.
Miss Mason, I'm sorry. We're having some internet problems, and I don't want for Mr. Hayes to miss anything. He's not with us right now. So if you just hang on for me for a moment, so I can get that courtroom back on. Oh, here they are. Okay, courtroom 2, you back with us?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Miss Mason. What were you telling me?
Yes, so like I said, I also had informed them that I did not want to press charges. And I had told them about my mental problems, and we had a drink. So I don't have no baby. So I did not know I was pregnant. Like I said, I got mental problems. I don't have an 8-month-old baby. That's how you know some delusional going on. I was off my meds. My daughter is 9 years old. My daughter, like I said, is no point of the charges being filed.
Okay, so
And when the detective, I'm sorry, Your Honor, when the detective contacted me, I also told them that I did not want to press charges, and I explained to them my situation.
okay, I understand that, but did you call the police at some point these 2 times?
I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really don't remember.
Okay. Anything further, Miss Allen? Do you have any questions?
Just very briefly, so Miss Mason, you have a 9-year-old child in your home?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have a baby. That's what I'm saying. I don't have.
You're-
I'm pregnant.
I
I'm just
understand.
pregnant, and
Do you
I
have
didn't know I
any
was
other children
pregnant.
in your home besides the 9-year-old?
No, ma'am.
So the 9-year-old and then the child you're currently pregnant with.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Those are all the
Yes,
questions I
ma'am.
have.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Powell.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client has no history involving any kind of violence. I would ask the court to give him a signature bond. I believe pretrial said he qualified for a signature bond, I think level 3, and that is what I would be asking for. My client is a student. He tells me he's currently enrolled doing a course because he wants to be a teacher at Pace University. So he's not in a position to pay for any bond, Your Honor. We've heard what the complaining witness had to say. So that is all I would say. A signature bond conditioned on no further violent contact with the alleged victim. She has stated that she's carrying his child and that she does want contact with him, Your Honor. Nothing further.
If I might just
Okay.
respond very briefly, she also reported that she's mentally ill and was drinking when these incidences happen, and she's currently pregnant, and she says things that are crazy and makes false police reports. So I would argue she's just made it very clear that she's not credible. We have 2 incidences that have occurred, and there are 2 cases that were charged with visible injuries to her after she called the police and reported being assaulted by this defendant who she identified for police. She is now currently pregnant, and there's a child in her home. I don't know if that child is the child of the defendants, but a 9-year-old little girl certainly should not have to see her mother going through mental health episodes and being assaulted by this gentleman. And we're just going to renew our request for a surety bond and no contact. Thank you.
Your Honor, my client is 38 years old. He has no history involving any kind of violent behavior. Yes, he does have some significant history, but none of it involves any violent behavior. And I believe we've heard what the complaining witness has said. First of all, she said she doesn't even remember calling the police. She says that she sometimes gets off her meds and she imagines things. So I think my client is entitled to the benefit of the doubt under the circumstances, given the fact that he has no history of violence. Nothing further, Your Honor.
You wanted to say something, Miss Mason?
Yes, and also at the time I was not aware that I was pregnant. And also my 9-year-old daughter was not even home. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why I'm confused. I don't remember even calling the cops.
But you
Okay.
remember that your daughter wasn't there?
Yes, I have a 9-year-old. I don't even have a baby. I'm pregnant. I don't even have a small baby.
Okay, well, I think for Mr. Hayes's benefit at this point in time that you all shouldn't have any contact because there are two instances where you've allegedly called the police alleging that he has physically assaulted you. So I don't think that at this point in time, until you all get your situation together, that you should have any contact. Neither one of you need to be around one another as far as I'm concerned. For each charge, it will be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Mason at the present time. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Your Honor, can we address
Thank you, Your Honor.
ACDC?
Ms. Dunlap, what was that?
Can we address ACDC? I did have a chance to file, but we're gonna be null pros in this case. We received some additional information. It looks like she's the victim here.
Okay, and tell me the name again.
Amanda Troselen, Troselen. I believe that's who that's.
Okay, ma'am, your case will be null pros.
Thank you so much for your patience, letting us look at that.
Thank you.
Dunlap.
Bye, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Am I
Courtroom
done?
Yes, you're done, Miss Mason. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Where to next, courtroom 2?
We can go to position 4, Mr. Hill.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Hill. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002344A with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe and possession of open alcohol container. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, there are 2 cycles. The last arrest was June 2nd, 2020, out of Pennsylvania for aggravated assault and strangulation and simple assault. Those charges were null pros on November 16th, 2020. It does appear to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on May 2nd, 2025. The incident location is 2787 Plantation Drive, East Point, Georgia. Officers responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle stopped in the front yard of a private residence at the incident location. Upon arrival, they identified the defendant, who was asleep behind the wheel of the vehicle while the vehicle was running. The vehicle was actually located on the private property, of course, without authority. Officers observed signs of impairment with the defendant consistent with alcohol consumption, and they also observed an open bottle of Douce within the defendant's immediate reach. So officers placed him under arrest, and in light of his criminal history and pretrial's recommendations, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $2,000 on the open container. I'm sorry. It is $3,000 on the DUI and $2,000 on the open container, both surety bonds. We are requesting no alcohol, drugs, or firearms, and that'll be all.
Yep.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Hill, is 33 years old. Even though he was born in New Jersey, he spent most of his childhood life here in Georgia. He graduated from high school 2009 and went to California to get associate degree for film school. He has 6 children here in Georgia, aging 1 to 14. He has been here in Georgia for the last almost 1.5 years continuously, completely moved over here back. He has two jobs. One, he works as a detention officer at another jail. Secondly, he also works at CVS. He's got to make a lot of money to pay for 6 children, Your Honor. And we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial. I do understand that this charge is bail restricted charges. So signature on bond through pretrial, we do understand that. That's all. Thank you.
All right, for the DUI, it'll be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the open container, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through looks like courtroom 2 is gone, so. Ms. Kim, I see that we have Ms. Chancey on the line. Do you all need her service? You need her services?
Yes, I do. I do have to interview Mr. Payne.
Okay,
He's from Guatemala.
okay. So we'll be with you as soon as we can, Ms. Chancey. Thank you for being here this afternoon. We're having some internet problems with courtroom 2, so we're more than likely going to have to hold your case till the end of the calendar, if you don't
No
mind.
problem, Your Honor. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, looks like courtroom 2 is back with us. I was in the midst of pronouncing the bond. For the DUI, it's a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the open container, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hill.
Next is position 5.
What is the name of number 5?
Yes. Could you pronounce your last name for me, sir? Yes. Good afternoon, sir. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002340F with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, public drunk, possession and use of fraudulent identification documents by person under 21 years of age, and battery. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There's one prior cycle. The last arrest was May 6, 2022 out of Forsyth County, Georgia, for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, 2 counts, and possession and use of drug-related objects. Does appear to be on probation in Forsyth County, Georgia, for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. That disposition date was March 5th, 2024. 2 years of confinement and 3 years of probation. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 3rd, 2025. The incident location is 20 North Main Street. It's Mercantile Social Security. Officers arrived on the scene in reference to a fight. They spoke to one of the male parties that was identified in the altercation. He was identified as the victim, Kanishka Singh, who had visible lacerations in his face around his mouth area. He stated that he was, well, they were all standing, and the defendant was with someone who stepped on Mr. Singh's shoe. And so he asked them to step back, and the defendant struck him in the face. The security at the location did confirm the events. They actually witnessed the entire incident. And they said that Mr. Singh only, responded in defense to being punched in the face. Officers attempted to question the defendant. He refused to speak to them. He requested a lawyer. Officers repeatedly asked him to identify himself and informed him that if he did not identify himself, he'd be placed under arrest. He refused to identify himself and was subsequently arrested. Upon that search incident to arrest, officers located in his wallet 2 Georgia state driver's licenses. One was a driver's license with the date of birth of 4/20/2005 with the name of Ikovich. They believed it to be his identity. The second ID was to Charles Scott with the date of birth 10/5/1965. And officers believed that identification was a fake identification. He was placed under arrest, as I said, and transported downtown. The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. We're asking, I believe that's 1,000 on each charge. 1 day anger awareness, stay away from incident location, no contact at all with the victim, Kanishka Singh, no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while on bond. And we'd like to sound for the victim just in case he joined us in court today.
Mr. Singh is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 20 years young, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. Your Honor, he graduated from high school 2023 and went to University of North Georgia for college. After sophomore year, studying accounting, he went to trade school. I mean, no. He went to actually got a job at Union doing the trading, I guess. Your Honor, he has his family is here in Georgia. We would like to, he's not a flight risk. He has a strong ties to the communities, and he does not have any kind of felony charges. He's not a danger to the community. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial 11-1. Thank you.
Okay, for the battery, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For each of the other charges will be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 5 days of anger awareness. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next, position 7, Mr. Jeffords.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jeffords. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002334E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 7 cycles. The last arrest was January 17, 2025 in Gwinnett County for a probation violation. So 1 prior misdemeanor conviction. It's in 2021 out of Forsyth County for DUI. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 2nd, 2025. The incident location is 225 Kimball Crest Drive. Officers were dispatched to a call in reference to a drug overdose at this location, Your Honor. Um, upon arrival, officers were conducting emergency procedures, and they spoke with the victim in this case, Mrs. Danielle Kelly, who mentioned a domestic dispute prior to this overdose. So of course, officers investigated the allegations. And upon speaking to Mrs. Kelly, they found out that Joshua Jeffords, the defendant here, they had been arguing throughout the night, and he slapped her prior to leaving the residence, and then returned to the residence shortly after. He entered into the bedroom with an item in his hands, and she tried to get the item from him because he had just informed her that he was going to purchase narcotics. And then he was making statements that he was going to try to end his life, and he was trying to leave the room. So she attempted to get this item from his hands, which she believed to be the narcotics, and like a physical situation ensued, but the defendant ultimately ended up grabbing her by her hair and throwing her to the ground, and striking her. So officers did notice bruising and swelling to her face, along with visible marking around her neck area and her mouth area. We did speak to Mrs. Kelly. She is supposed to be on the Zoom with us today. She did state that they are in a relationship. They do live together. Their actual residence is a different location than where this incident occurred. This incident occurred at a place where they were visiting, apparently house sitting. They don't share any children together, but the victim, Miss Kelly, did confirm the events in this warrant. She stated that the defendant has been violent with her in the past, but not like this. So this is the first time that the police have been involved in one of their altercations. She is stating that she's not in fear of the defendant and she does want to have contact. However, Your Honor, the state does have some concerns about the defendant's mental health. So we are asking for a $1,500 surety bond. We would like a social worker visit to determine to do a BHET. We're asking for a family violence intervention program, a stay away from the incident location. I'm sorry, we'll do the residence, which would be 1170 Temple Drive, Sugar Hill, Georgia. No contact with the victim and no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while out on bond. And we'd like to sound for Ms. Kelly at this time.
Ms. Kelly, if you would like to address the court, I need for you to raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to say,
Miss Kelly, I'm sorry.
Apologize,
Miss Kelly, I'm sorry. We've lost courtroom 2, so give me a moment to get them back, okay? I'll be right with you, ma'am, as soon as we get the courtroom back.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like Miss Kelly, you can go ahead.
okay, I'd just like to say I would like to have contact with him. He's, we have a loving relationship. We live together. We've been together for 4 years. We're engaged. I am his caregiver. He's 100% disabled through the VA, so I am his caregiver. He's not usually ever violent towards me, and it wasn't like he was attacking me or coming at me. He was just trying to basically get me off of him when he had something I was trying to get from him. It wasn't like he was coming at me and attacking me. He didn't hit me on, I wouldn't say purpose, but it wasn't purposeful, like coming up and just like punching me in the face. I would like to ask if he could get a signature bond, and that the only clause would be just no violent contact.
Okay, thank you for being here, Miss Kelly.
Thank you.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jefford is actually 42 years old, and he served at Marine From 2005 to 2012, he was medically retired because when he was sent to Afghanistan, there was a bomb exploded and he became a victim of that bomb explosion, and he is 100% disabled, Your Honor. Right now, because of that, he has a hard time to get any job, even though he does have a bachelor's degree for cybersecurity, and he does try to get a contract job here and there, but he does need to have a stable job. So we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial. Um, and we have no objection to BHET. Um, that's all we ask for, Your Honor. Thanks.
Okay, it will be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, a social worker visit to assess for BHET, 2 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Kelly, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next is position 8, Mr. Jones. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002343D with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, there are 4 cycles. The last arrest was January the 28th, 2024 in Fulton County for escape. That charge appears to be still pending, Your Honor. That case number is 24 PI 000666. In addition to that, he appears to be on probation in Clayton County for a charge counsel may want to waive sounding on. And it was like, I'm sorry, that disposition date was May the 10th, 2012, and the term is for 15 years of confinement and 5 years of probation. And there's 1 prior felony conviction that was in 2008 out of Clayton County for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 3, nothing in addition.
If you'll put that charge in a direct chat to me, Ms. Jackson, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on May 4th, 2025 at 870 Mason Turner Road. Officers responded to a call regarding a domestic dispute. Once they arrived at the scene, they encountered Miss Latia Zachary, who had very visible injuries, including a swollen left eye, a bloody nose, and a cut on her right ear. She did inform officers that her and the defendant have been dating for the past year and a half and lived together. We did speak with the victim, Ms. Zachary, and she informed us that her and the defendant are in a relationship. They currently live together at the incident location. They do not have any children. She stated that they were in an argument, and in the midst of the argument, he punched her in the face. She did confirm she had a bloody nose. She stated that nothing like this has happened before, and she's not in fear of the defendant, and she does wish to have contact with the defendant. She would like him to return to the residence. We, however, do not agree. We believe that this was a very, very serious attack due to her very visible injuries. Again, like I said, she had a bloody nose, a cut on her right ear. It was a lot of injuries. The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. We're asking for $2,000 on each battery charge, a family violence intervention program, a stay away from the incident location, with the exception of a one-time police escort to retrieve the defendant's belongings, and no contact with the victim at all. We're asking for no alcohol, drugs, or bonds as conditions for the defendant while he is out on bond, and we'd like to sound for Ms. Zachary at this time.
Ms. Zachary is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
Why does it have to be no contact?
Hold on, Ms. Zachary. I need for you to come in the frame for me.
You got a bunny? Hold on.
Your
Can
right
y'all see
hand?
me?
Yes, ma'am. Raise your right hand for me. The other hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Why does it have to be a no contact? And there are no injuries. I just had a bloody nose.
And how did you get that bloody nose?
Obviously, I mean, you all know.
Okay, and this happened yesterday?
It happened like late Saturday, early Sunday.
Okay. All right. So that's why you've answered your own question. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Jones, is 35 years old, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. He has a strong ties to the community. He has entire families here in Georgia, brothers, grandmother, his son, that he has a 50% of custody. Um, the housing that place is actually in my client's name. He is the one who has name on that housing. So if um miss complaining witness moves out, my client should be able to return home. And we would like to have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted
I
visit.
have moved out.
Oh, okay. So to verify that she actually moved out, so that way he can return home, Your Honor. Um, that's about it. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 3. Thank you.
Um, for each charge will be a $1,500 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Zachary. If she moves out, if she's not at the Turner Road address, he can go back to that address. He can go back initially with a one-time law enforcement escort to verify that she's not there. If she's not there, he can stay. If she is there, he'll have to collect his belongings and find someplace else to
I
reside.
no longer live there.
No drugs. Ma'am, keep her off from speaking, please. I understand what you said, ma'am. But if you are there, he's not supposed to be there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jones. Who do we have on the jail court's iPhone?
This is position number 9, Mr. Kelly.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002336G with battery family violence. Is there a history?
Your Honor, he does not have any prior arrest on file. It appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Allen? You're on mute there.
Thank you so much. You're making it all happen today, Your Honor. Thank you. This is from May the 3rd. At about 10:14 p.m., police responded to 10105 West Side Parkway, specifically the area of apartment 404 in Alpharetta. When they arrived on scene, the defendant was outside sitting on the curb. He reported that he and his sister argued. His sister is the victim in this case, Erica Perez. She's here on Zoom. The defendant said he and his sister argued and it turned physical. He was disciplining the dogs when she became upset and grabbed his arm. In response, he punched her in the face. The defendant was seen to have a small laceration on the right hand on his knuckles. Police made contact with his sister, Ms. Perez, inside Unit 404. They saw blood on the floor in the entranceway, blood on the counter in the kitchen, paper towels covered in blood in the trash can. She had a bloody nose and a laceration next to her nose. The blood had been controlled and then started to bleed. It started to bleed again while police were present. She reported that the defendant had been dragging one of the dogs. The dog had already been limping for the past week because of the treatment that the defendant had given it previously. She approached him to stop him from harming the dog again, and that's when he punched her. Police noted the laceration on her face. Your Honor, we're asking for an SOB through pretrial here. No violent contact with Ms. Perez, no violence towards any animals, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We did speak with Ms. Perez today. She reports that she lives there with her brother, and she confirmed what happened. And if you sound for her, thank you.
I see you there, Ms. Perez. If you would like to address the court, I need for you to raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to go ahead and say that the comment about the dog being injured because of him prior to Saturday is incorrect. The dog was injured because she was running in the dog park and injured her leg. He has never physically abused the dogs, and he is not violent towards me. He was having a bad day. Walked home in the rain, and I did put my hands on him first and did push him first. So I do want to make that comment that he is not violent towards the dogs. He was disciplining them for going to the bathroom in the house, and I did get upset. So that is correct. But I would like contact with my brother as he does live with me.
And has this ever happened before?
No,
And are you afraid of him?
no.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Perez.
I have a question or two.
Okay, yes, Mr. McLean.
How many dogs do you have? How big are they? How old are they? And how long have they been there?
I have two dogs. One is a chocolate lab, so she's about 70 pounds. She's 3 years old. And then I have a Yorkie Poo. He's a year old.
No, okay. And there's no problem with y'all being together with the dogs?
Absolutely not.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Perez. Go ahead,
No,
Mr. McLean.
Your Honor.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Perez, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
All right, next is position 10, Mr. Martin. Got to switch real quick.
Good afternoon, Mr. Martin. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0023335J with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 6 cycles. The last arrest was January the 30th, 2023 in Fulton County for a failure to appear. It does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for a DUI. That case number is 23 CR 00642 and the letter J. He does have misdemeanor convictions. This one in 2023 out of Sandy Springs, Georgia, for a non-fingerprintable offense. One in 2019 out of Gwinnett County for possession of marijuana and criminal trespassing. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident is from May the 3rd at about 10 p.m. at the Target at 6000 North Point Parkway. Police were called when loss prevention at the location suspected the defendant and the woman he was with of some shoplifting. At the scene, it was reported that about $250 worth of items were intentionally not scanned as he and a woman named Cipriana Evans went through the self-checkout. These were all kinds of household items. They were seen going through the checkout and then leaving, trying to leave the store when asset protection stopped them to check their cart. They noticed a few items in the cart had not been paid for. So they stopped the individuals and looked at the surveillance. The surveillance showed both Mrs. Cipriana Evans and Mr. Martin intentionally declined to scan multiple items in their cart, not paying for them, paying for items that they chose to pay for, and then try to leave the location. He does have prior history, including ID fraud and theft, as well as that DUI you just heard about, and the open case in Fulton County. We're asking for $1,000 surety, stay away from all target locations, but especially the 6,000 North Point Parkway target, and no contact with Cipriana Evans, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Martin lives on Dalrymple, and he's 35. He has a BS in business management. He works in the past as an HVAC technician and now works in the IT field. And we would ask the court to consider a signature bond if that's possible, Your Honor. Thank you.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from all targets. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 11, Mr. McDaniel.
How you doing today, Your Honor?
I'm doing well, Mr. McDaniel. Good afternoon. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002325A with 4 counts of battery. Is there a history, I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson?
There are 16 cycles. The last arrest was April the 20th of 2025 in the city of South Fulton for driving while license suspended or revoked. He does appear to be have an open case pending for that in South Fulton, Your Honor. In addition to that, he appears to be on probation in Douglas County for obstruction of an officer. That disposition date was January the 14th, 2025, and the term is for 12 months. He does have a prior misdemeanor sentence and convictions. This one in 2015 for DUI, and he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2012 for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. There was one in 2007 out of DeKalb County for theft by taking. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Dunlap?
This is my case, Your Honor. I just want to make you aware there was a battery family box, a simple battery from 2020 that he pleaded NOLO to in Cobb County. I did verify with them and it's a different victim, just to make you aware that that is in his record.
Thank you.
This incident date was May 4th, 2025 at 4075 Fox Hunt Lane, Southwest and East Point. Officers responded to a fight call between, it looks like 2 males. They observed 2 males fighting. It was the defendant and one of the victims in this case, Mr. Askew. They separated the individuals upon arrival, began collecting statements from each party. The first male, a Mr. Travaris, Trabaris, last name Askew, stated he was visiting the defendant when a domestic violence incident occurred between the defendant and his girlfriend, Nadia Reese, that's Naduia. She is the second victim in this case. Mr. Askew stated he doesn't condone domestic violence and he intervened. Defendant took it upon himself to tell officers he whipped Mr. Askew's A-word repeatedly. Victim was left with lacerations on his legs and arms and a swollen right eye. Officers also spoke to the girlfriend who was on the scene. She originally told officers it was just a verbal dispute and she fell. She later admitted to the officers that it was physical, and defendant began to accuse her of seeing other men when she goes to work. So she went to the bedroom and moved an air mattress into the living room. Defendant then took it upon himself to stomp on her face, causing injuries to her bottom lip, a cut, lacerations to the right side of her neck. In order to defend herself, Miss Reese did retrieve a knife, and she did end up causing the defendant a cut on his hand. She said that when she went outside for air, the second victim in this case pushed her to ask her if she was okay. The defendant became jealous and physically attacked him. Given the fact that he does have previous arrests for violence in his history. The state is looking for $8,000 surety bond in this case. That's $2,000 on each battery. A stay away from the 4075 Fox Hunt Lane Southwest. No further contact with Nadia Reese. No further contact with Travaris Askew. 2-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And if we can sound for both victims when appropriate in accordance with Marcy's law. Thank you.
So, Ms. Dunlap, I'm sorry, I have 4 battery charges, and what are you asking for on each?
2,000 surety bond on each charge for a total of
Okay.
8,000.
Thank you. Let's see, if Mr. Askew or Ms. Reese, if either of you are present and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I do not believe Ms. Reese will be able to address the court since she was also arrested. For some reason, the state neglected to mention that. But she was arrested, and I believe she probably is still in jail, so she will not be appearing.
Apologies, Your Honor. We know across Ms. Reese's case because we determined she's the victim in this case. Sorry, I missed that detail at the end of my thing.
Okay. You can continue, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the pretrial stated that my client met the criteria for a UJR at level 2, Your Honor, and that is what I would be asking for him. My client denies what is alleged in the warrant, Your Honor, and it seems like the male victim, according to the warrant that I read, was very drunk, had to be taken to the hospital, and was behaving inappropriately at the hospital as well. I don't know if it ended up in his also being arrested, so I don't think that anything that he said should be taken very seriously, because even the warrant says that he was very, very drunk at the time. My client definitely denies that he attacked his girlfriend. We are okay with no further violent contact. And if the court says no further contact, we're also okay with that. The address that was given is actually my client's address. He's the only person whose name is on the lease. He does tell me that they were actually living there together. But I just wanted the court to know that it's his place. But I would definitely ask for a significant bond for him. He has no significant criminal history, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Your Honor, we're gonna reiterate the stay away, even though he is the only person on leave. Ms. McLeod did state she is living there, and since we know across her case, that would be where she would be likely to return to, as well as the victim in his case went to the hospital for his injuries, not for being drunk.
Each charge would be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, makes for a total of an $8,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Reese. No further contact with Mr. Askew. Stay away from the Fox Hunt Lane address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. If by chance Ms. Reese moves out of that place, then of course he can go back, but as long as she resides there, he's going to have to find a different place to reside. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McDaniel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Disposition 13, Mr. Oldham.
Good afternoon, Mr. Odom. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002333B with simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are no prior arrests on file, Your Honor. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR through the UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Afternoon, Mr. Geddes.
Good
Oh,
afternoon.
I'm sorry. And this is your case?
It is.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Dunlap.
No problem. This incident date happened yesterday at 2124 Cheshire Bridge Road, Northeast in Atlanta. The victim in this case is a Joshua Nwaki, Nwaki. Officers responded to his address regarding the altercation. They spoke with the victim upon arrival, who stated him and his nephew, who's the defendant, have been having several verbal disputes. He stated the defendant keeps saying he's going to kill him. When they get into verbal disputes, defendant pushed him today. The victim ended up swinging on the defendant and a fight ensued. Defendant claims the victim stated he was going to kill him, and they began arguing, and he pushed him, and then he punched him. Defendant actually advised police that the victim has mental issues and things happen when he doesn't take his medicine. Our office did have a chance to speak to the victim in this case. He stated that they are roommates at the incident location, that they've been in arguments in the past. It's the first time it's turned physical. He stated he's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. He's okay with the defendant returning to the residence, and he will try to be on Zoom so it could sound for him when appropriate. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial. I'll defer to the court regarding the amount. No further violent contact with Joshua Nowaki. I am going to issue a stay away only because this has only been a day, and we would like to request a cooling off period if the court is inclined. 1 day anger awareness, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond, and if we can sound for Mr. Nowaki in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate. Thank you.
If Mr. Nowaki is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Geddes?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. My client's 22 years old. He has lived in Georgia for most of his life. He's moved back and forth a few times for schooling. Most of his extended family does live in Georgia. He did want me to make sure that the court knew that he's expressed to me that he actually owns the address that this took place at. His uncle was staying with him, according to him. We have no issues with the no further violent contact. The only issue we would have would be with the stay away, because obviously if it's his residence and he lives there, that would cause significant problems for him going forward. He is gainfully employed in security. My understanding is that he does have his high school diploma and is intending to begin schooling with Georgia Perimeter. So as I said, we have no objections to anything the state is asking for except for the stay away.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Odom.
Next is position 14, Mr. Reeves.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reeves. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002327Y with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
I'm sorry, what position is this again, Your Honor?
Position 14, Mr. Reeves.
Could I have just a moment, please?
Okay.
All right. There are 19 cycles. The last arrest was May the 28th, 2020 in Chicago, Illinois for armed habitual criminal and possession of marijuana and possession of controlled substance with the intent to distribute. There was no disposition for that arrest. It does appear to have an outstanding hold out of Indiana for a failure to appear. The date on that warrant was August the 27th, 2020. He does have felony convictions, one in 2019 out of Illinois for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, one in 2015 out of Illinois for possession of controlled substance, one in 2011 out of Illinois for armed robbery, and he has misdemeanor convictions, one in 2010 out of Illinois for resisting a peace officer, and an additional one in 2010 out of Illinois for battery. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. The incident date was February 17, 2025 at 283 Pine Street, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers were called to the address by the victim, in this case, Terrance Campbell, Terrans. She reported damage to property. She said that she was riding in her car, which is a van, when her ex-boyfriend, the defendant, became irate in the car over something she said, began acting violent towards her, causing her to pull up the side of the road and try to put him out. He stated at first he was refusing to get out. After she arrives home, she began receiving text messages from the defendant saying he left his keys inside her place and to unlock the door. She said no. Defendant threatened to break all the windows, to which he went outside and broke the window of her 2007 Honda Odyssey. Our office did try to get in touch with the victim and we weren't unable to. And as such, the state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, defer to the court regarding the amount. We're going to ask for a stay away from the 283 Pine Street Northwest, seeing that I weren't able to contact the victim. No further contact with Ms. Terrance Campbell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And just in case she did have a chance to join, if we could sound for Ms. Campbell when appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. Campbell is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Geddes?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Reeves is 34 years old. He moved here to Georgia to be closer to his family and the children that he has here. He is gainfully employed. He finished high school and does have some college education. As pretrial mentioned, it sounds like he has a hold in place, so I think a UJR would be appropriate just to make sure that this case doesn't prevent him from going and dealing with any other cases that he has. I did discuss the possibility of a stay away with him. It's unfortunate the state was not able to reach the alleged victim. If she had said she was fine with him staying there, obviously we would.
Think that we lost Mr. Geddes. Are you with me, Ms. Dunlap?
I am. I was wondering if it was my screen as well.
Okay.
Did I freeze?
Oh, yes, you did.
It's happened a couple times today. I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure that, go ahead. I'm not sure where you were.
I'll just start from the top.
No, you don't have to talk from the top. You were all the way down to the part about that we hadn't gotten in touch with Miss Campbell.
Yes, I was just going to say, if she had no issue with the stay away, I was going to ask that he be allowed to stay at the same address. I did discuss the possibility of a stay away with my client, though, and if necessary, he has another place he'd be able to stay. But beyond that, we're not objecting to the UJR.
Okay. Will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Campbell, stay away from the Pine Street address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Reeves.
Next is position 15, Mr. Reyes.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Reyes. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002328Y with hit and run, making an improper U-turn and driving without a valid license. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Your Honor, there are no prior arrests on file. He appears to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened on May 2nd, 2025, at an intersection. Officers were dispatched to the intersection regarding a hit and run. They met with the victim in this case, a Miss Bellenum Stewart, that's Belnemum, who stated she was the driver of the other vehicle. She was driving in her lane when the defendant in an additional lane suddenly made a U-turn and collided with her car, causing her car to spin around the roadway. While patrolling the dispatch area, officers got a call in from dispatch who stated that the defendant's daughter had stated her dad got into an accident with her car and she wanted to report it. Ms. Reyes, whose father is the defendant, stated he was driving her car, called her to explain it was an accident. He left the scene. Officers reported to her address and spoke to the defendant, who admitted to the accident and not stopping because he doesn't have a license and he was scared. Our office did have a chance to speak with the victim. She stated the defendant was involved in a hit and run accident. She expressed relief that the defendant has been apprehended. She reported experiencing back and neck pain as a result of the collision and has yet to be seen by a doctor due to lack of transportation. However, she plans to seek medical attention. She's contacted her insurance company and is currently waiting on a rental. She stated that she wants the defendant to be held financially responsible for both the damage to her car and bodily injuries. She also provided additional contact information, and I do believe she is on Zoom, so we can sound for her when appropriate. The state is looking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial on this charge, 2 on the hit and run, 500 on the remaining, no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond, and we can sound for the victim appropriate in accordance with Marcy's law. Thank you.
What is her name again, Ms. Dunlap?
I think it's Bellenum Stewart. I believe the Bellenum is her first name. I apologize if I am getting the order mixed up.
Ms. Stewart is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
Yes, how you doing, Judge?
Yes, ma'am. You'll have to come on camera for me if you'd like
Oh,
to.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm
You're
here.
fine. Raise your right
Yes.
hand.
Okay.
Do you swear, the other
That
hand?
was the
for me?
wrong one.
Fine. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down,
Yes.
Mr.
I do.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court?
Yeah. I
have 3 kids and I have no way to get to work. I'm taking off for work. My birthday actually in May, so this happening is just been terrible on me. I just had anxiety last night because I just never been through nothing like this. I don't have a vehicle, so I cannot get to work. So I'm asking, can I get his insurance so they can cover my vehicle and my medical expenses because I don't have a car. So, because he fled the scene, he just kept going, and my car actually spun around in a circle. We were actually on the river, so I'm glad that I'm okay that I didn't go as to the river. So he really, and then got insurance from from the car that he was driving, so I can get a rental car so me and my kids can get back and forth to work and school, and and I can't go to the doctor because I don't have a way.
Okay, this is only a bond hearing today, Ms. Stewart. I take it that more than likely the information is contained that you're seeking. Maybe if there is a police report supplement that you can get it from there. I'll ask that you stay in touch with the victim advocate as this case moves forward so that you'll know what process we are in with this matter. But today, this is only a bond hearing, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
Mr. Getty.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 52 years old. He's lived in Georgia for almost 30 years at this point. He has numerous family members, including his children, his brothers, and other family members here. He's been working for Target in a warehouse for about 13 years at this point. He did finish high school and has started some college education. I understand that the state is recommending a UJR in this matter. We would have no objection to that.
Okay. For each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Reyes.
Thank you.
Next is position 16, Mr. Rogers.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rogers. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002329F for simple battery, family violence, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 18 cycles. The last arrest was February the 2nd, 2023 in Fulton County for a probation violation. He does appear to be on probation in Fulton County, 2 cases. The first case is 21 SC 179005 for aggravated assault. That disposition date was March the 9th, 2022, and the term is for 4 years and 1 month. The second case is 23 SC 186492. That disposition date is December the 19th, 2023, and the term is for 4 years and 10 months, and that underlying charge is for aggravated assault. He did receive first offender treatment in 2020 for aggravated assault. There was no seal date available in the GCIC. Also, he appears to be on probation with the city of Atlanta for driving without a valid license. That disposition date was March the 6th, 2025, and the term is for 12 months. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Stand by.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to put on record, the defendant has 4 previous cases in Superior Court with the same exact victim. In each case is alleged several violence against her. He's on probation for several of these things. I believe his most recent sentencing was in January. I have January 2025 on the 23 SD 186492. He was supposed to serve he was sentenced to 5 years to serve 60 days. And he was sentenced to 10 months of probation. So simply even having possession of the marijuana will put him in violation at this point. It's several instances of violence against Miss Fatima Amin, alleged strangulations, alleged incidents in front of the children and stepchildren in the house. I want to put on record, Miss Fatima told the officer she is currently pregnant. And so this incident date happened on May 3rd, 2025 at 1357 Wichita Drive, Southwest in Atlanta. Officers were called to this address regarding a fight. Officers made contact with the victim to advise she wanted her husband, who's the defendant, to leave the residence due to his behavior, and she's 9 months pregnant. The dispute began because he was entering and exiting the home smelling of marijuana. He ended up spitting in her face in front of the children, one who was a minor. Another child, who initials was RC, appears to be the victim's son, witnessed altercation and defendant spitting in his mother's face. Defendant is supposed to be on probation for prior domestic violence incidents. As I mentioned, there are a few of them that have been in Superior Court. The defendant has been sentenced for with the same victim and not supposed to be using drugs. Officers observed the defendant driving by and conducted a traffic stop. He smelled of marijuana. Officers found 25 grams in his car center console. The victim was able to provide video evidence of the incident and previous altercations with the defendant assaulting her, as those previous cases I mentioned. I did end up speaking to his probation officer. They're investigating and will make a determination regarding whether this results in a probation revocation. We did try to reach the victim and are unable to reach her. As such, with the previous history of violence, considering it's the same victim, there's several children present in the home. She is currently pregnant. The state is looking for $8,000 surety bond, cash bond on this case. I'm sorry. 500 on the marijuana, so that's a total of 8,500. No further contact with Fatima Amin, that's Fathima, last name Ameen. A stay away from 1357 Wichita Drive. Anger awareness course, as many as the court can impose at this level. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And we can still sound for Ms. Amin just in case she had to join when appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. Amin is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Geddes?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 36 years old. He has lived in Georgia for a bit more than 8 years at this point, who moved here from Alabama.
Seems like we've lost Mr. Geddes.
Am I frozen again?
Yes, the last we heard was he moved here from Alabama.
Yes, he moved here from Alabama. He has a multitude of family members here. I've already discussed the possibility that the court would impose a stay away in this case. He has expressed he has more than willing to follow any stay away order that the court places. We've already discussed he has at least 2 different addresses he'd be able to stay at while the case is pending. He's currently working 2 jobs, including a position with a funeral home. I mentioned that specifically because he's expressed that he is in mortician school through a program called Gupton College. He is making efforts to better himself and his job prospects for the future. I would ask the court to impose a UJR in this case, but if the court is not willing to do that, just the lowest possible bond.
For the simple battery, it'll be a $3,500 good bond. For the marijuana, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Amin. Stay away from the incident location. He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Rogers. Yes.
I wanted to inquire about the anger awareness course. They've had cases in 2019, 2020, 21, and 22, and the only reason it took a break is because he served jail time. So I just would like to reiterate the anger awareness course, if we could.
We normally give anger awareness if I have sentenced it through pretrial. I will let that happen down the road if that's deemed to be something that he needs in the future. Who do we have next?
Next is position 19, Mr. Thornton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thornton. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002332J with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 24 cycles. The last arrest was August the 21st, 2018, with the City of Atlanta Police Department for giving false information to an officer and possession of controlled substance, Schedule 1 or 2. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does have prior felony convictions. Sworn in 2018 out of New York for grand larceny, one in 2012 for burglary, one in 2008 out of Coweta County for forgery in the first degree, and one in 1991 out of DeKalb County for theft by receiving stolen property and financial transaction card theft. Does have one misdemeanor conviction since 2004 out of DeKalb County for simple battery. It appears to meet the criteria for a UJR at level 3. Nothing in addition.
Your Honor, the incident date was May 3rd, 2025 at 289 Westlake Avenue Northwest. Officers responded to a criminal trespass call. They spoke to the property manager here, Ivan Gaston, who stated the defendant was an old resident who was evicted 2 years ago, and he's been having issues removing him from the property. He advised he's been squatting there at a different unit and stealing power from another unit. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the 289 Westlake Northwest in Atlanta apartment. We're just going to say no further contact with the property manager, seeing that he's having issues with having the defendant removed, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Thank you.
Fine.
No objection. Thank you.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Westlake Parkway property. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Thornton, I'm going to let you out, but you can't go back to that property, sir. Okay? All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 21, Mr. Wells.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wells. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002324B with simple assault and 4 counts of reckless conduct. Is there a history?
Your Honor, he does not have any prior arrests on file. He appears to meet the criteria for a UJR at level 1. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 2nd of May at about 3 p.m. Police were called to the location of Venetian Drive Southwest and Graymont Drive Southwest on a weapons call. On the scene, the initial person they spoke to was Mom Tiana Dixon. She's about 38 years old. She reported that she and her sister, Shakita Dixon, and their 14-year-old niece, Deja, as well as her 1-year-old son, Aaron, and her 16-year-old son, Keyshawn, they were walking home when they were approached by this defendant and his brother, who I guess was a juvenile because it says he was released to the custody of his mom. So the brother, Xavier, was wearing all black, and this Mr. Malachi Wells, had on a white hoodie and gray shorts. They engaged in they approached the family group aggressively, started shouting at Keyshawn, who's about 16, about something that occurred when they were all in school together at some time in the history and sometime in the past. Mrs. Tiana Dixon, reported that she saw that this young man, Malachi Wells, had a firearm in his waist. She quickly told Keyshawn, her 16-year-old, to walk home. She then watched as this defendant, Malachi Wells, pulled the firearm out of his waist and held it out while saying, "Fuck this and fuck you" to her and her entire family, and including 2 young children, while he had that firearm out and removed. She expressed she was afraid for her safety as well as the safety of her children, especially the young man she had just asked to run away. The description was provided of this young man and his little brother. They were located going eastbound on Campbellton, and this defendant, Malachi Wells, who's 19, was found in possession of a Glock 9mm. A witness to the incident reported that it had been recorded on his door camera, and he was given opportunity to upload that for police. And as I said, the brother, the 15-year-old, was released to his mother. We did speak to Mrs. Tiana Dixon, who confirmed what happened, that that she and her son, Keyshawn, and these guys don't actually go to the same school at this point. She believes they were in elementary school together, maybe middle school. She is not even aware what the actual issue is, but pulling a gun out of his waist while arguing with her in front of her children and her son there was terrifying. She says that a friend of this defendant had messaged her and messaged her 15-year-old niece since this happened, telling them they better drop the charges. Ms. Dixon is obviously in fear. She told officers she was in fear when this happened, and she continues to be in fear. What she described is tampering and harassment and intimidation by not just this defendant, but I'm guessing his family on his behalf. Based on the information you've just heard, we're asking for a $10,000 surety, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no contact with the Dixon family whatsoever. Stay away from that location and wherever they may be or work. Thank you, Your Honor. We'd also ask for a parental cosigner, some information about how this young man spends his days.
Okay. Ms. Dixon is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Your Honor. 19-year-old Mr. Wells went through 12th grade at KIPP and has worked in retail, a store that sells T-shirts. Doesn't have much of a job history because he's 19, and I don't think he has an arrest history, does he? So we would
At least
ask
not an adult one.
we would ask for a signature bond with appropriate conditions.
What can you tell me about where he lives and what he does on a day-to-day basis?
Well, he's been in Georgia all his life. I was going to try this number to try to get a adult co-signer if necessary. Haven't reached anybody yet, but I'll keep trying. And by the end of court, hopefully you have somebody. And I'll do a text message as well as the calling.
Okay, until you do that, until we find something, it's going to be $1,000 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $5,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Dixon or anyone in her family. Relinquish all firearms, including that Glock 9mm. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. McLean, if you do are able to locate someone else and can tell me some more about this young man, where he lives, what he's doing, if he has a parent who's willing to co-sign for him, I'm willing to take another look at this. But for now, that's going to be the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Wells.
Next is position 23, Mr. Yarbrough.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yarborough. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002339Y with battery family violence, simple battery family violence, 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, criminal trespass, interference with possession, and criminal trespass, damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 7 cycles. The last arrest was March the 27th, 2024 in Clayton County for armed robbery and possession of a firearm or knife during commission of a felony and aggravated battery. That case appeared to be still pending in Clayton County. He does appear to be on first offender probation in Fulton County for 2 counts of aggravated assault. And that case number is 23 SC 188431. That disposition date was May the 22nd, 2024, and the term is for 5 years. He does have misdemeanor convictions, a conviction and a sentence. This one in 2023 out of Clayton County for obstructing or hindering a person for making an emergency telephone call and battery family violence. He received a nolo contendere sentence. in 2022 out of Clayton County for obstruction of an officer. And he appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 3, nothing in addition.
Alan.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident actually from January the 5th of 2025. There's been a warrant out for a period of time now, and it looks like Mr. Yarborough was just picked up on it. Police were called at about 7:45 p.m. to 3560 Oakshire Way Southeast on the call about a domestic assault. On scene, victim Yashinia Garrison, and that's Tyshina Garrison, reported that while she was on the phone there at the location with her two small children and the defendant, her two small children have the initials YY. They are born in 2022 and 2024, so a 2-year-old and a less than 1-year-old. While she was on the phone there at the location, she asked the defendant to change a diaper. He didn't like that. He became angry and took her phone away from her and threw it, causing it to hit the wall and creating a hole in the wall. He then punched her multiple times in front of these small children. Multiple witnesses, including her mother and her brother, were there at the location. Police spoke with mom specifically. She said she saw the defendant on top of her daughter yanking her hair. The defendant then left the location, but returned shortly thereafter and behaved in a disorderly and threatening manner, throwing items and damaging further items, and then fled again before police arrived. A warrant was issued for his arrest. You did just hear that he's got that open aggravated battery and possession of a firearm during the commission out of Clayton County. He's on first offender for battery, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during a felony just in May 2024. Since that date is when he has started his first offender sentence and prior arrests for battery, Your Honor. We did speak to Mrs. Garrison today. She says that she and the defendant are married. They now live together at 1409 Rocket Road, Rockcut, and they share 2 children. She confirmed what happened in January. She said the incident location was her mother's house, one of the witnesses there who spoke to police. She says nothing like this has ever happened before, and that they've been living together ever since, and it's all fine, no violence, and she doesn't want to press any charges. Based on the criminal history, the fact that the victim confirmed what occurred in this incident, and there were multiple witnesses, as well as 2 very small children, we're asking that the bond in this case be $5,000 to stay away. It'd be a surety bond to stay away from 1409 Rockcut Road in Forest Park. No contact with the victim or the 2 children, initials YY, Tyshina Garrison, again, Tyshina, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if you'd sound for Ms. Garrison, please.
Ms. Garrison is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Yarborough has a 12th grade education, graduating 2020 from high school. Locally, he's in Georgia all his life. He has worked more than 3 years in construction and landscaping together, working 2 jobs at once, and has worked a couple of years in a restaurant and has worked a couple of years doing logistics, loading and unloading things at our airport. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond here, a surety bond if that is possible, but if the court is not leaning to that, then something like a $2,000 surety bond.
For the battery, it will be $1,000 good bond. For the simple battery, $1,000 good bond will be a $500 good bond for each additional charge. Makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Garrison. Stay away from the residential address. If necessary, he can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is add-on 2, Mr. Brinson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brinson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002348H with simple battery family violence. Your history,
There's
Jack?
one prior cycle. The last arrest was May the 3rd, 2019. That was in Fulton County. I apologize, Your Honor. That was in Fulton County for theft by receiving stolen property and fleeing or attempting to elude an officer, and a hit and run and speeding and no insurance. That case appeared to be still pending. That case number is 19 SC 168470. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJ or through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on February 16th, 2025. The incident location is 2591 Etheridge Drive, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia. Officers arrived on scene and were able to speak with the caller, Miss Keshana McCluster, who's the victim here. She stated that her ex-boyfriend, the defendant, who is the father of her child, spent the night at her apartment, and they had a verbal dispute about the status of their relationship. While they were arguing, Miss McCluster said some things that Mr. Brinson didn't like and called him a name, the B word, and he asked her to repeat it, and she repeated it, and he grabbed her by the hair and punched her in the face and slammed her on the ground. Their 1-year-old son was present, and at the scene, Ms. McCluster did state that this was the first time that she had to call police for this type of incident. He does not live with them as far as we know, but he does visit their son regularly. Regularly. Okay. So in light of his criminal history, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond, family violence intervention program, a stay away from the incident location, which would be the victim's residence. We're asking for no further violent contact with Ms. McCluster, and no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while on bond. And we'd like to sound for Ms. McCluster in case she joined us in court today.
Ms. McCluster is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 23 years young and a father of a 1-year-old child. To make his life, better, he actually went to military.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry for interrupting you. I was trying to figure out how to unmute the microphone and I just found it.
Okay, excuse me, Ms. Kim. Let me go to Ms. McCluster. You have to come on camera for me, Ms. McCluster, if you would like to address the court. Okay. If you can raise your right hand.
The issue of us standing away from each
Hey,
other.
hold on, Ms. McCluster. Wait, listen to me. Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, we have a child together. We no longer fight or communicate, but we do communicate for our son, and I don't deal with his family. So we like contact each other for our son. He come get him and drop him off. So I'm not understanding like the us staying away from each other part.
Okay, that was just the request of the state, I believe. So you're telling me that nothing like this has ever happened before?
No, and I don't want to press charges.
Okay, and you're not afraid of him?
No, he never hit me before. This is the first incident we ever had where it was violent.
Okay, and he's taking care of his child?
Yes, he a good father. He's an amazing father. He also helped me with my second child.
Okay. I'll take that all into consideration, Ms. McCluster. Thank you for being here this afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Ms. Kim.
yes, Your Honor. He is 23 years young. He was born and raised here in Georgia. I guess his mother is also on the Zoom to support him. He does have a strong ties to community and to take care of that 2019 open case. He even went to military service for 5 months. I guess that was part of the deal that they were making for a pretrial diversion program. And yet, when after he came back, it was a pandemic, and ever since then, the case has been on hold. So he cannot move forward because of that. So he went to, after trying to do college because of the child, he went to barber school to be more responsible, to be able to get a job right away. He also drives trucks to be able to pay for his child. And right now, because of car accident, he does have a lower back pain, and he does need to get medical attention. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. Thank you.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Ms. McCluster. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is add-on 3, Mr. Cano.
This is the one that I believe I have to go to breakout room with a Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, so you need to talk to him. Okay.
Yes. Only
So
thing
can
that
we?
he could tell me was yes and no, and no matter how I changed
Okay.
the answer, that
So,
was
so can we? Yeah, let's take him last if you don't mind.
sure. I don't
Okay,
mind at all.
just sit right there for Mr. Cano. We can go to Mr. Evans, add-on 4.
Okay. We'll be with you, Miss Chansey. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Evans. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002350C with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Jackson?
There are 12 cycles. The last arrest was October the 9th, 2023 in Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And he does have misdemeanor sentences and convictions. So in 2023, he received a nolo contendere sentence out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And there was a conviction in 2019 out of East Point, Georgia, for a non-fingerprintable offense. This is an additional one in 2019 for battery. He appears to meet the criteria for a UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 2nd, 2025. The incident location is 2360 Delow Drive. It's an apartment complex. It's called Delow Village Apartments. It's in East Point, Georgia. Officers arrived on the scene. They met with the manager of the property, Ms. LaToya Payne, who stated that the defendant, had been criminally trespassed from that property on April 29th, and that he was back on the property. Officers made contact with the defendant, and as they approached him, they asked him if he was aware of being criminally trespassed from this particular property on April 29th, 2025. And the defendant stated that he was from this community and he had been here all of his life. Officers ran his identity and they found warrants for him in the GCI system from South Fulton Police Department, and he was placed under arrest. The state's recommendation, in line with pretrial's recommendation, is a signature bond. We're asking that the defendant stay away from the incident location. We're understanding that he's from the community, but he has to stay away from this property. And we're asking for the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, or firearms. And that'll be all for the state, Your Honor.
We have no.
Okay. As such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Delow Drive address. No further contact with Ms. Payne. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Evans.
Next is position add-on 6, Mr. Heath.
Good afternoon, Mr. Heath. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002345E with reckless conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor, there are 2 cycles. The last arrest was April the 20th, 2014 out of DeKalb County for criminal trespassing. He does have 1 misdemeanor sentence that was in 2014. He received a Nolo contendere sentence out of DeKalb County for disorderly conduct. And he appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on May 3rd, 2025. The incident location is 330 Auburn Point Drive. Officers responded to a dispute call in reference to a firearm. When they arrived at the scene, they spoke with Mr. Edward McDaniel, who stated that he received a phone call from his brother, which is the defendant. I don't know if they're real brothers, advising him to come get the defendant's girlfriend because they were having a verbal argument. And once Mr. McDaniel arrived at the location, he walked up to the door, and the defendant opened the door with the firearm in his hand, telling him, "Don't come up there with that BS," and asking if he wanted to fight. He closed the door in Mr. McDaniel's face, and then the girlfriend, Mrs. Williams, walked up to the door and tried to walk out, and the defendant was still yelling, "Don't start with the BS." So Mr. McDaniel and Ms. Williams were able to get in the car, and then Mr. McDaniel got out again to go back up to approach the residence, I guess to kind of check on the defendant. And defendant walked outside on the balcony and fired one shot in the air. And of course, officers, arrived at the scene. The state's recommendation here is the $1,000 surety bond on each. It's just a reckless conduct charge. So $1,000 surety bond on that charge, 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or firearms while on bond. And we'd like to sound for Mr. McDaniel in case he's joined us in court here today.
Mr. McDaniel's with us and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. Your Honor, that place is my client's place. His name is on the lease and deed. I mean, actually, deed or lease. I'm sorry, but anyway, Your Honor, he says his story is way too different. The way he understood was he thought he was getting his car robbed, and he just wanted to make sure that he wanted to protect his place and his possession, which was his car. There was no other issues. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. He graduated from high school 2010. After that, he went to Georgia State University to study for engineering, and he does have an HVAC license to work as a HVAC professional. And he does not have any other issues other than something that's from 10 years ago, Your Honor. Thank you.
Will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Mr. McDaniel. Relinquish all firearms. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Heath.
Thank you.
And lastly, add-on 3, Mr. Cano.
Okay. Before I put them in breakout rooms, can I get some announcements from you? Let's see. Position number 12, Mr. Obehi. What are we doing with him today?
Mr. Obehi is a waiver. Mr. McLean went to see him earlier today.
Okay. Position 17, Shilangi.
Shalangi is at Grady, so they'll be reset.
Okay,
Yes, Judge.
reset. Thank you. 5, 6, reset. Taylor, 18.
Taylor had downtown court, so he'll be a reset as well.
Reset. And till tomorrow. And didn't we have a second add-on? Who was the second add-on?
That's Darian Borneo, and I believe that's Mr. McLean's client. He's requesting a breakout.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are we gonna have Mr. Borneo?
I hope so. I mean, we need a breakout with his mom.
I'm asking jail courts if they know about him for today.
Can I address Ms. McLeod's question? Ms. McLeod, I believe I dismissed NOD to Mr. Joseph. And it's
Okay.
ended.
Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Guess that
So
concludes my business before the court then. May I
have
be
a good
excused?
afternoon. Yes, thank you, Ms. McLeod.
You're welcome.
So before I let you go, jail courts, do we know about Mr. Borneo? Anybody hear me there?
Hello?
Hello? Were you talking to us, Judge? We couldn't hear
Yes,
you.
I was. Yeah, it's the a second add-on, Mr. Darian Borneo. Oh, is he gonna be present for us today?
No, Your Honor. He was a waiver as well. Mr. McLean talked to him and intake this morning.
Okay, so is that right, Mr. McLean? He was gonna waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor, but I hope his mom is on for the breakout. Right.
Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and place jail court iPhone, Madam Interpreter, and Miss Kim into the breakout room.
Your Honor, did we ask about Mr. Taylor? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
Yes, he's reset until tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, Judge.
Thank you, Miss Grace. So while we're doing those, let's take the waivers. And position 12, if that's your case, Mr. Obehi, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, we have that.
Okay, he's charged in case 25 CR 002326A with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. So your history, Ms. Jackson? Ms. Jackson, you with me? Presenting this case for the state.
This would be my case, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have the history for me?
1 second. I actually don't want Mr. Obey. Okay, looks like there's 9 cycles. There is a criminal damage to property, marijuana possession, disorderly conduct. And there was a theft by shoplifting. He was sentenced on a theft by shoplifting in 2023. There was another theft by shoplifting. He was sentenced on that one also in 2023. Criminal trespass. 2 criminal trespass that were both transferred to state court. He pleaded NOLO to those in 2022. I see an FTA from 2022 out of Carrollton Police Department. There also is a battery that looks like it was dismissed. Probation violation 2023, probation revocation 2023. Sentenced to 14 days for that. A public indecency charge from January of 2024. I believe that's open. I don't see any disposition on that. Criminal trespass from 3/16/2025. That looks like that was sentenced on April 22nd, 2025 in Clayton County State Court. And this case would be the criminal trespass and the willful obstruction out of Georgia.
Okay, thank you.
So can we just pull the sheets back up? Okay, so this incident date was May 3rd, 2025 at 980 Howell Mill Road in Atlanta. That's the Osprey Apartments, OSPREY. Officers were dispatched to this location regarding a criminal trespass call. They encountered the defendant who they had escorted off the premises the previous day. Another officer also had responded for a criminal trespass from the defendant at another date. We didn't have that specific date. He was lying under the staircase, engaging in inappropriate behavior with his hands in his pants and genitals exposed. Officers told him to leave, which he refused, claiming the area was his home. He tried to get the defendant to remove his bag so they could detain him. He told officers, "I don't think you want to find out how I can get." They proceeded to tell officers it won't be nice. Officers had to call for backup, to which the defendant tried to push past the officer, Rothright, and attempted to flee. Officers had to ask the defendant multiple times to stop resisting arrest and not to come back to this location. He stated he was going to come back anyway because this is his home and they can't make him leave, and he's going to continue to do it. Officers eventually had to follow him and tase him to detain him, which still didn't make him comply. He only complied with arrest after he saw a different officer, Sawyer, and they took the defendant in custody. The state is looking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 2 on the willful, 1 on the criminal. Stay away from 980 Howell Mill Road in Atlanta. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. McLean?
No, Your Honor, he does have a solid mail address. While it is a mail drop, he should be able to get his mails quite faithfully.
Okay, as such, for the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Howell Mill Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.